Hi friends, Roy Haynes here with Lifetime. On this channel I seek to share my thoughts on life and on the times that we live in. Today I want to go into a rather controversial subject, and that's the dangers that threaten us with this coming election. It's quite easy to see that the United States is a very divided country. From my viewpoint, there are two major groups of people that are squaring off. One group seems pretty well defined and very determined in their efforts to bring their agenda to pass. The other group seems divided in itself and is rather vague and passive in its approach to the future. The first group's motto could be, "Let's change the future," while the second group's motto might be, "Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be." Group 1 seems to stand for letting people do whatever they want. When this group was last in control of the White House, there was no budget, and when they ran out of money, they simply printed more. They championed causes like a woman's control over her own body. And now that means that a woman's baby can be killed in the womb just before it breathes its first breath of air, and maybe even after it's had several breaths of air. They champion gay rights. They are against the Second Amendment, right to own and carry guns. They are against Christianity. They want open borders to make it easy for people to come live in the United States. Their latest venture is the support of those protesters who terrorize innocent people, even their own people. Also, if this group doesn't get their way, we've seen them block freeways, tear up towns, and brutalize those who they think oppose them. Group 2 is about the opposite. They like the United States the way it has been and resent those who would radically change it. They stand up for good old American values. Many of this group go to church most Sundays. They like peaceful, fun community gatherings. Many like to go hunting and fishing and go camping in the mountains, if there were any mountains around. I live in Kansas. They like the rights they have and are upset if they feel anyone is messing with their rights. They will protest, but most often only peacefully. They are concerned about the economy, and they work for the things they have and tend to value what they work for. If push comes to shove, they will shove, but it will probably be a little too late to make the necessary difference. I'm sure many people watching this video will disagree with my assessment of these two groups, but this is my take on what I am aware of. That being said, there are some underlying factors that many may not realize about these groups. Group 1 has two underlying motives that may or may not be linked with each other. One motive is to move the United States into becoming a socialist nation. Governed by the people would give way to the people being ruled by a few. There would be no more upper, middle, and lower classes. There would only be the rulers and the masses. That rhymes. This is another motive of Group 1 is globalism. This is socialism for the world, not really any more individual nations. Again, the rulers and the masses. Group 2 has a central core that some may not realize. At the heart of good old America is a God focus. I do mean a capital G God focus and not a little g God focus. Most of our original laws are from the Bible. And a great many of the original immigrants came to America seeking religious freedom, even though public education at all levels avoids this truth. Many of our founding fathers were God-fearing leaders, again, contrary to common thought today. I would call this coming election a battle between those who wish to rule the nation themselves and those who want things the way it has been. To me, this is really a battle between the anti-God group and the God is not so bad group. I would not say this is a battle between anti-God and pro-God, because I don't believe Christians are all in on this. I see a very divided Christianity in the United States. I see Group 1 supporting a great many anti-God issues, things that are opposed to clear Bible teachings of centuries and millenniums. I am amazed to see many Christians supporting some, if not all, of what Group 1 supports. Most of the supporting Christians would probably not characterize the groups as I have, so that it does not appear anti-God. Many professing Christians support gay rights and would not label it as anti-God, even though the plain teaching of the Bible has labeled it as such for about 3,200 years. Group 1 has done a superb job of persecuting President Trump since before he was even elected. They have done a masterful smear job on him. He has done much good for our country and for Christianity, but it has been covered up by the anti-God media. I have heard many Christians stupidly smearing President Trump right along with the best of the anti-God army. Little do we Christians realize that this election is really about what will happen if Group 1 wins the Senate as well as the House, and if they sit again in the White House. If those things were to happen, let me make a guess on a couple things that would quickly come to pass beginning in January of 2021. One of the first things to change would be the Second Amendment. That would be quickly repealed. We would have 30 days to voluntarily turn in our guns. After that, the guns would be taken by force at the cost of many lives. That has already happened in a city here in America recently. Around 70 American citizens were murdered because they stood up for their Second Amendment rights. After that was taken care of, the next major action the Group 1 government would be to outlaw Christianity. They might do it in a couple steps, but it would happen. One mayor in a Midwest city, large one, has already said all church members should have to register with the government. We need to note that before COVID was thrust upon us, our country had a robust economy. President Trump was undoing the economic damage the former administration plunged this country into. He did it in spite of the total smear campaign Group 1 assaulted him with. Now that COVID has taken its toll, it seems like the Katrina football stadium incident, where the gangster types ruled, has been repeated only on a nationwide scale. It may be too late to change the intended future of Group 1. They are so strong, and we seem so weak. Do we have any strength left? Do we even care enough to wake up? The freedom our forefathers fought and died for has been so nice. But, que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty.